All right, y'all. What is up? Welcome to the Voice of Life. Back with another video today. Okay, one of two. All right, we're talking about the war on lust right now, because that is something I'm battling with, have been battling with. I'm much further in my fight than I would say, a few years ago, and prior to that for a good decade plus. Okay, so compared to where I was back then, I'm much further now. If anything, I'm in a space now where I can start feeding into other guys, man. Men and women, of course. But being a guy, I feel like for lust is, in general for men, is a bigger fight. It's probably our biggest fight in general. Not saying women don't fight lust. Of course they do, especially nowadays. But we're for men, it truly is that dog fight right now, and we need more men out there speaking on it. We need to overflood YouTube and the other platforms, showing men that, one, you're not alone, and you shouldn't fight alone. One, you need to seek God first. All right, lust is a spiritual battle. So if there's anything out there talking about defeating lust and they don't mention God, I would question what their source is. Right, lust is a spiritual battle. You got to go to the one who reigns supreme over all spiritual things, all spiritual and manifested physical things, right? Anyways, we're getting into this video, how to conquer lust for good. What's this dude's name? Cliff. Yeah, Cliff. Cliff Knechtle. I'm not going to say his name right. But Cliff, I'm sure y'all seen this guy before, man. If you're anywhere in the Christian space, you've probably seen him debate people in multiple locations. But this is going to be a cold interaction. It's going to be Cliff and his son's take on how to conquer lust for good. So let's get into it.
For you guys, this is probably the biggest one that I get in my messages, and it is talking about lust. I can't break this. I feel so unworthy of Jesus. I feel like a lot of times when we're entrapped in lust, we feel like we don't even want to show our face because we're in so much humiliation. And I guess, what advice would you give to a young man out there that feels like the devil just has a grip on his life with this lust? And just what advice you guys have for being able to overcome that?
That's a great question.
If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Just cut your hand off, probably. You know.
Yeah, cut it off, guys.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, we actually we know a guy who knew a guy who actually did that.
Oh,
and
wow.
So that's not a way. I was completely being facetious there. That is not a way I would deal with lust. So please don't take that seriously, anybody who's listening. No, I think that's metaphorical, but it's obviously Jesus was showing how seriously we are to take it. Because, look, I hope it's encouraging in one way and depressing in another to hear that 2/3 of pastors look at porn. So encouraging in one sense, in the sense of even spiritual leaders of the church and beyond have a seriously difficult time with lust.
I know what he means by encouraging, because, like, again, y'all, we're not alone in this. The one thing when it comes to lust, it really is so far beyond our ability to fight it. And as men, 2/3 of pastors watching porn, it's like, to somebody who's not discerning and wise in faith, you'd be like, what, pastors? But I'm like, yo, these are men. And if anything, or men and women, of course, but these are people, right? And if anything, the higher up you are in servitude, especially as pastors, you probably get attacked much more than somebody who's not in that spotlight, if you will. It's mentioned in the Bible and implied many times that the Levi family, they were the priests of the tribes. So all the 12 tribes, they were the priest, right? So they were held to a different standard. There was a whole section in Leviticus talking about what they needed to do. So when it comes to ministry and being a priest, a pastor, all these things, you're held to a much different, higher standard, because you were considered a direct communicator to the message of God, right? So you're held to a higher space. Devil's sending in his best demons for them. Like, we get attacked, but for priests and pastors and also, you get the best of the demons come from the devil. So that's what he's saying. It's encouraging to know that, hey, we truly are not alone, and discouraging, obviously, because these are pastors, right? So, but yeah,
and depressing in the other sense of, I hope they start living more consistently in their faith. So everybody has, and it goes on. It's past just past.
Right. Also, it's gives us a chance to really give grace. Because how quickly do we bash on pastors and spiritual leaders who fall? Or at least their falling is exposed. Right? 2/3 of pastors, there's probably plenty of pastors out there who are, or people who don't know that their pastor, the one that they go to and see, is probably doing something, right? But it's a time to give grace, right? We can so easily smash somebody and kill somebody, destroy them as if we're any better. We are all sinners, right? We got to band together instead of bashing
There's
each
a
other.
ton of different ministries and that kind of thing. The statistics are overwhelming. So everybody has a tough time with lust. You know, pornography has never been a main struggle of ours, but many other sins certainly have been. And I'm not saying lust hasn't been a struggle. Lust has definitely been a struggle of mine, even though I haven't had a big porn problem or anything like that. It's still something I have to push back against every day. And, you know, before you're married, it's 10 times tougher in many ways. Right. Some people would say it's not. I've found that for sure to be the case. So understand it's so easy. You know,
can you tell their father and son? I mean, like, you can almost mirror their images.
I did a sermon on Elijah in 1 Kings 19 wanted God to take his life. Moses in Numbers 11 wanted God to take his life. Jonah in Jonah chapter 4 wanted God to take his life. All the top spiritual leaders dealt with suicidality. Mm-hmm. They got so depressed they wanted God to take their own life. Okay, that's a sin. Okay, David, the man after God's own heart, read Psalm 51. How much he has to repent because he fell into the lust trap. He fell so deeply into the lust trap that he was willing to put Uriah at the front lines with Bathsheba, which was her obviously husband, bathing on the roof, and he puts Uriah at the front lines of this war in order to kill, basically it's murdering her husband, so he can sleep with Bathsheba, and yet he's called the man after God's own heart. So I bring up those,
which happened, by the way. Uriah was killed in war, and they end up getting married just because of lust, because she's beautiful.
Examples to say, hey, look, if you're dealing with lust, you're not too far from the kingdom. You're not too far at all from Christ's love, his grace. Now, the problem with that, though, is if people fall too far into that, it's like, oh, okay, these guys all mess up. Cheap grace.
So I can just
repent. Yeah. No, it's obviously not that. It has to be genuine repentance in order to truly be a Christ follower. So understand that first, because I see so much shame and guilt around the issue, specifically with lust. Second point would be continue to find Jesus more attractive than those things you're lusting after. And so that gets back to prayer. If you have a vibrant prayer life where you're really falling in love with Christ more and more and his teachings and his promises, that's going to help you with lust. If you're not, if it's kind of like, faith is kind of bland and boring, well, then lust is going to become more of an idol in your life. Third point would be fight isolation. Fight isolation and loneliness as much as you possibly can. Like if you're in a dorm room at a college, you got to spend limited time, if you don't have a roommate, limited time in your dorm room, or I don't care how much prayer, how much Bible reading you do, how much of a holy roller you are, the devil is going to get you.
I'm glad he said that, because, man, I cannot tell you how correct, I can't tell you more how correct this man is when it comes to that. Bro, I'm telling you, it was about 3 nights ago. And, man, the devil came in with something fierce. And I'm talking about from night all the way to the next day. I was up watching things I shouldn't have been watching. Now, thankfully, I wasn't touching myself and all this stuff, but I was definitely watching adult content that I should not have been watching. Right? Again, and I've been months up to a year or so not into that. I mean, fighting it, but definitely on the winning side of that. So I will say in my battle of lust, like where I am now, again, 2-3 years ago, I was getting my butt handed to me every other day, being with whoever, getting whatever relationship, watching whatever, right? So I'm now getting closer to the front line of that battle, right? Because now I'm making videos, reacting to lust, talking about lust. I made a video about it about a couple weeks ago or so, right? I wasn't doing that a few years ago. But he's saying that is very true. This is why God promotes community, wise counsel. Because as he said, and I was just feeling this, it's like you can be in the word so much. Like this is your sword, right? But even God understood that as men, our flesh can get so strong sometimes. That desire can get so strong that even just being in the Bible might not be enough. And that's not saying His word isn't sufficient. That's not saying His grace isn't sufficient. But seek wise counsel in moments when you don't have the strength yourself to come back to Christ. That's what it is. Sometimes you need brothers around you to sharpen your iron when you can't pull yourself back from the depths of sin. The devil wants you to fight sin, right? But instead of fighting it, you flee it. And what better help is there to flee with somebody else who's also fleeing, right? Just an example, during the slavery era, in American history, one person can flee, great, yeah, and they get away, great. But how much easier would it be if you have a few people at least with you? Now, maybe not hundreds, because then you could easily all can get captured. But I mean, if we really are a selfless people, the more people they ain't gonna catch us all, right? And that's what warfare is, though. Warfare is you band together and you fight. You band together and you fight. Do not try to fight this on your own. And who better else than to fight with the ultimate source being God?
With lust.
And follow Christ.
Those are three ways. There's many more, but I would start with those three.
Where I start is have a healthy view of sex. Sex is not dirty. Sex was not created by the devil. The first sin of Adam and Eve was not that they had sex.
Yes.
Sex is a beautiful gift from God. It's God who made us male and female, and God could have had procreation happen at the end of a Q-tip. When a man and a woman mix their earwax, little babies could have been born that way. He didn't. Instead, He created us male and female. That's a gift from Him. But then realize it's such a powerful gift, and it's such a good gift, it's such a pleasurable gift, that it needs to be guarded. And God has outlined that that guarding is to be a lifelong commitment between one man and one woman till death parts them. So that is part of what propels us to marriage. Procreation, enjoying sex, enjoying each other's bodies as gifts from God. But also I think that God created sex in such a way that it's part of the glue that holds a marriage together. Because you understand, we're only going to enjoy sex with our spouse. We're not going to go play in the field, seeing who we can hop into the sack with. No. We are going to be committed to one person till death parts us, and then within the context of that profound commitment, we're going to enjoy sex as a beautiful gift from God. Second point is, watch our culture. Our culture basically says, if the quality of your sex life is good and the cost is low, wow, cool.
That's it, man. I'm telling you, this is why, like, me personally, Netflix is a trap for me. Instagram is a trap for me. Facebook is okay. Facebook just has a whole bunch of just other crazy stuff. But as far as I'm talking about, like, sex traps, Instagram trap, Netflix trap. Plenty of Hulu, HBO, especially some parts of HBO trap, Stars trap. All these things that promote and sometimes overly promote high adult content into their shows and movies and what have you, right? Promote that, right? As men, look, here's my opinion about social media, especially as a guy. If you're not using it to make money make money. I I hate to sound so cold, and it's not because I have a love for money. That's not it. I'm talking about just that specific purpose. It's for business and stuff like that. Or if you have content and your business is creating content to reach out to people and put certain things out like this, right? Like if I'm making this video, I'm making shorts, I'm throwing that on my Instagram to push that out, right? I'm not Instagram to connect with people. I'm sorry, I'm not. If I want to connect with you, if we really are tight like that, we're gonna call each other. We're gonna meet up. If we're not next to each other in the same state, we'll text each other. We'll call each other. That's just my take on it. And I hate to be cold, but what I've realized on Instagram, nobody misses each other on Instagram. I've been gone for Instagram for years. Ain't nobody miss me on there. I don't hop back on when somebody sends me a video on Instagram and I check like my messages and people are like, man, where did you go? People don't miss each other on Instagram, on social media. People don't miss each other. So especially as a man, and women, you can do this too, but especially as a man, if you're on social media, it better be for business. Business. You're connecting with business. You're creating content, which is your business, right? Pretty much you handling your business, you minding your business. Other than that, you don't need to be on social media, y'all. I just, why? Why? What do you need to be spending your time on Instagram for? Really? Like, what purpose does it serve outside of, again, creating business or content? Right? It's a waste of space. Right? And like you said, good sex, low cost. That is no such thing. That is a fallacy. That's a fallacy, man. It don't matter how good the sex is. It ain't better than eternal salvation. Low cost, the cost ain't that low, right? Because that low cost will lead to eternal damnation. The sex ain't that good. I'm sorry, y'all. I've people who really try to make it seem like sex really is all that. I've been with multiple people, all these experiences. Every single one of these people that really be feeling that way, they're dead inside. They're dead inside, y'all. Dead inside. You can't convince me otherwise. If you can have sex with multiple people and act like, yeah, it don't mean nothing, psychologically, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. I can't trust your motives. I can't trust your value about yourself. I can't trust your self-esteem. I can't trust you. There's no way you can just freely give up your body to random people in your most vulnerable state. Especially as ladies. Your most vulnerable state is when you're having sex. I can't trust if you can just give that up to random people all the time. I can't trust that. That ain't no low cost. You crazy.
But if the quality falls and the cost rises, ditch them and get somebody else.
Which is crazy.
Now, what does that say about a person? It says you're a commodity.
Ooh.
It says you're a product.
Ooh. Come
that
on.
is to be used.
Come on.
And if the quality of your product is high, stick with the product. And if the price is low, really stick with the product. But if the quality goes down a little and the price goes up a little, ditch the product. No, you put product in your hair. Product is not a person.
Oh. Hey, this brother preaching. He know he preaching too because he had to sit up. He had to sit up and start talking.
A person's a human being created in the image of God. And then thirdly, I would plead with people.
And just do this. Instead of focusing on being a product, focus on the producer. You're not ready for that.
To seriously consider living a sexually pure life because it has incredible ramification when it comes to marriage and raising children. And I can promise you one of the quickest ways you can stick a knife into your child's heart is by going around and committing adultery, sexually unfaithful, and all of a sudden your children begin to realize, you know something? This marriage is not too secure.
Yeah.
It's not too firm. It's a mess. And I'm afraid that's why a lot of people today don't want to get married, because they saw mom and dad go through so much pain and they say, no way am I going to follow that. So there are a lot of issues at stake when it comes to using sex and enjoying sex as a beautiful gift from God within the context of a lifelong commitment.
Then right there, and I had
I feel like a lot of people.
Okay. I have another video that I'm about to react to, and y'all see that in a second. But man, they touched on a lot of good stuff. They touched on a lot of good stuff. I mean, yeah, just look at the way people promote it. The Bible says, in the days of the end, people will promote good as bad and bad as good. How many times do you hear guys be like, "Oh, she bad, she bad, ooh, she bad, boy"? I might catch myself say that every now and then, just because I grew up in that. Why I gotta say that? Like, she's bad because you're looking at her body. Well, I can't be, man, you know what? She's a really good character. She's really kind. She's nice. I feel ease when I'm around her. It's understood if a man is complimenting a woman, especially in a nice way, it should be kind of understood that there's some attraction there. It should be understood. But if that's of course, we're going to look at that as men. We're going to see that, okay, she's attractive. You should immediately be like, then what's her character like? I choose to be in that space. The moment I find a girl who I find attractive physically, I'm like, okay, what's her character like? And if I can't find out in that moment, then cool. I go about my day. I go about my business. I treat my life like I treat social media. I'm not dealing with it unless I'm handling business. And when you consider marriage more on the business side of things, it actually helps you out. You wouldn't just get with anybody, because we're not dating just to date for sex. We're dating for marriage. And when you think of marriage as a business, which in many aspects it is, you start looking at it differently, okay? But anyways, let me know what y'all think, man. If y'all been battling with lust, I'm putting out some videos today in regards to that. Let me know, man. Men are struggling with that, and we got to continue to be warriors in this fight. And again, as like I said, it's men and women. So this is not an attack against women. Women don't attack men. We need to start handing out grace. And the first person we need to hand out grace to is ourself, right? But that grace doesn't come from us. It comes from God. So thank you for being here. I'll catch you on the next one.